Right now at 5, we're continuing to track Tropical Storm Debby.
So the latest advisory on the storm coming in just moments ago, and our area is continuing to be pummeled by a lot of rain. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Heather Crawford.
And I'm Anthony Austin. Right now there is a tropical storm warning still in effect for much of our area. Right now you are taking a live look over downtown Jacksonville, but you can't see downtown from this camera because most of the day marked by clouds, rain, and wind.
And we have complete team coverage tonight on Debby's impact. Our crews are on your side in Union County, Jacksonville, St. Mary's, Georgia, and Glenn County, Georgia. And we're going to check in with them in just a few minutes. But right now, we want to start with our weather team.
Folks, I know there's a lot to look at here. We're going to leave it up there for a little bit so you can focus on what we're talking about here. First of all that color is the rain, and really within the rain, the wind that Anthony and Heather were talking about. So here's the core of now. If you hadn't noticed, yes, tropical storm, winds are down to 50 miles per hour. The forward motion has slowed, however, and this is significant, it has not stalled. It's still chugging along to the northeast at 6 miles per hour. And as long as it continues to move a little bit, hour by hour, then we'll begin to see conditions improve over northeastern Florida. It's going to take longer for those of you over southeastern Georgia. But this is still an incredible rain producer and will be for quite a while. Many of us in northeastern Florida have had our windiest weather. The rainfall problem is in a cumulative effect, and so that's why it really matters how long this is going to take. So let's take a look at what we're looking at. First of all, the winds continue to drop. We know that. This is the forecast position for 2 a.m. on Tuesday, so northwest of Folkestone. And this is very important because Thursday, Friday, there were a lot of ifs in the forecast. By 2 p.m. Tuesday, and we are very confident about this now, northeast of Brunswick. That means by 2 p.m. Tuesday, even those of you in southeastern Georgia, the storm's third threat will come to an end. And that means after 2 p.m. on Tuesday, dramatically improving conditions for us. And that really means that upstream for the Carolinas, that's where the weather is going to be bad, possibly for them, for the next 3 to 5 days. But let's come back home. Lee's going to take a look at our weather county by county.
Thanks, Tim. All right, so we're going to start with Baker, Union, Bradford, and Columbia County. So obviously you are in the thick of it right now, but you could have an additional 2 to 5 inches of rain, sustained winds of 20 miles an hour, and gusts of 45 miles an hour. And we include you all through Tuesday night because we will be watching and preparing for the possibility of river flooding and rising rivers. Please be aware of that. Now for Ware, Charlton, Brantley, and Pierce, you could see an additional 5 to 15 inches of rain, sustained winds of 30 miles an hour, and gusts up to 50 miles an hour. Be prepared for power outages, rising creeks and rivers, and flooded rural roads. Now, as for Glenn, Camden, Nassau counties, your impacts, you could perhaps get 10 to maybe up to 15 inches of rain still to come. Sustained winds of 30 miles an hour, gusts up to 55 miles an hour, and you also could be dealing with some storm surge, 1 to max 4 feet. We'll watch out for that low risk of storm surge as well. Now, over into Duval County, your impacts, we're expecting about 2 to 4 more inches of rain with sustained winds of 20 miles an hour and gusts up to 45 miles an hour. For St. Johns and Flagler counties, an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain possible, gusts up to 40 miles an hour possible, with sustained winds around 20 miles an hour. And for Clay and Putnam, we are also expecting an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain, and we will also watch out for those creeks rising.
Thanks so much. And so right now you can find the latest advisory and forecasts on the First Coast News app. Just look for the Hurricane Central section to keep you up to date.
A home in Jacksonville's Sandalwood area damaged by a tree during the storm. Our Atia Collins is joining us now from that home. And Atia, show us what that house looks like right now.
Yeah, this tree causing damage here to this home. So I want to walk you through what happened. Here's the tree behind me. You can see just how thick the trunk is relative to my hand. Now this tree actually came from a neighboring yard, and you can see it crashed right through the fence, ripping over some of this paneling. This is the main trunk of this tree, and you can see there it fortunately missed the roof of this home, but some of the branches there landing on the rooftop, causing damage to the roof and the patio. Now, I did have the chance to talk with both homeowners, the one who owns the tree where this tree came from and the one who owns the home where the tree landed. They both are very happy that the tree missed the roof for the most part, but they're still going to have to deal with some damage. And once the tree is removed, they're going to have to look to see exactly what damage it caused to the roof. Now, an arborist was out here earlier in the day and he said that the tree was at the end of its life. Right now they are working on cutting up the pieces that fell and trimming back the rest of the tree to prevent more damage. Take a listen.
I was on a Zoom call and had my headset on. I didn't even hear it, but I did hear my wife holler. First time it's happened to us, yeah. Yeah, we've been lucky. We've had some bad storms and just a couple branches on the ground, maybe that was it till now.
And again, that arborist that came out here, he's now reminding other homeowners, as we see these storms becoming more frequent, you should check the trees on your property, make sure that you're trimming back any branches that are overhanging any rooftops, and also just checking on any trees that may be old around your property. Reporting in Jacksonville, Tia Collins, First Coast News, on your side.
Thank you, Atia. We do need to get to a breaking traffic alert right now. This is a live look at I-10 near McDuff Avenue, where right now all lanes are closed in both directions due to a crash. So we're working to learn right now if anyone was hurt and what caused this crash. But for now, if you're planning to drive on Interstate 10, you probably will want to find another route or just stay off the roads if possible. And there was flooding in different areas of the city today. This is video from Memorial Park in Jacksonville. Some water splashed up from the river. And in Jack's Beach, a surfer seen trying to catch some waves. Right now, there is an increased risk of rip currents due to Debby. And today, Jacksonville Mayor Donna Deegan said that the emergency order in effect in the city is expected to be lifted tomorrow.
We will be lifting the emergency order at some point tomorrow as well, unless we are very surprised by something that happens overnight. But we're also coordinating with our constitutional officers and our agency partners to communicate with their teams as far as all that is concerned.
And 4 storm-related deaths reported this evening in Florida. A 13-year-old boy killed when a tree fell on a mobile home this morning in Levy County. Deputies say no other injuries were reported from that tree falling. The sheriff's office encourages everyone to use extreme caution as you clean up and assess any damage near your home. And tonight we're also learning a semi-truck driver was killed near Tampa. You're actually looking at a picture right now of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office responding to this crash around 2:30 this morning. The 18-wheeler was found mostly over the guardrail. The front cab was initially out of the water, but shortly after crews arrived, it became submerged. So here's pictures of first responders actually pulling the truck out of the canal. The crash is being investigated by Florida Highway Patrol.
Today, Governor Ron DeSantis gave an update on Florida's response to Debby. The governor emphasizing the danger from floodwaters from the storm, what those could bring.
So just a reminder that as we have more and more water, we are going to see flooding, particularly in the northern part of the state. Be very careful. Don't go out into floodwaters. There can be hazards there. There can be debris, and there can be downed electrical cables there, which will represent a threat to your safety. And please do not go driving if roads are underwater. That is not something that's going to end well, and just take the proper precautions.
And we continue our team coverage right now in St. Mary's, Georgia. Andrew Badillo is joining us live there. And Andrew, what do you see at this hour?
Yeah, Anthony, it's a little bit more about what you're feeling right now than what you're seeing. The wind is really, really whipping, and to give you an idea of how hard it is whipping, I want to show you the flagpoles. We're on the waterfront in St. Mary's right now, and it's just been consistently blowing like that. I also want to show you, since we are right on the water, kind of what it looks like right now. It's like a floating dock type thing. It's tied down, and you can just see how the waves are pushing up against it. It's been going like that for the last hour or so since we've been here. We did talk to a longtime neighbor who's lived here 9 years, and he said he was really, really surprised to feel how powerful the winds were from Debby. And just the fact that it's going to be bringing as much rain as it is going to be bringing, he said that he's taking the proper precautions and sandbagging and preparing his home All the businesses right here are closed right now. We'll show you that a little bit later on in the newscast, but all these businesses have sandbags in front of them. Obviously, everyone here preparing for the big rain event that Debby is going to be bringing and is bringing right now. Again, we'll be live at 6 o'clock. We'll be here all evening. I will say, if you do have to be going out and driving, please do be very, very careful. It is windy and the gusts do pick up suddenly, so please be careful. But for now, we're here live in St. Mary's. Andrew Badillo, First Coast News, on your side.
Andrew, thank you. Also in Georgia, the storm causing a tree to fall in Glenn County. This happened on Cartwright Circle in the Windward Acres neighborhood. And we spoke with the homeowner, and he told us he didn't notice the tree fell until he heard Public Works employees with chainsaws working to get the tree out of the road.
I was surprised to see that big old tree gone, and now I'm kind of wondering how I'll deal with what's left of it.
And thankfully, no one was hurt. The home was not damaged. The tree has since been removed from the road.
Tonight, Glenn County is under a state of emergency as officials there prepare for the worst of the storm. Riley Phillips is live tonight on St. Simon's Island, where people are keeping a close eye on storm surge. So, Riley, how are the conditions where you are? It looks like a rough surf right now.
Yeah, the wind and the rain are getting worse here. There was a lull about an hour ago, but things have really started to pick up. If you can take a look behind me, white caps on the water. The surf is very rough out here. Visibility is also low. You can barely make out the marshes across the sound. Of course, though, this is not stopping people from showing up to the pier, checking out the conditions. People were out here with their cell phones, taking pictures and videos. They were also out here bringing the whole family out here to just see how things were. We actually caught up with a couple from Canada earlier who were here in St. Simon's for a family vacation, but instead they thought they were gonna have this nice beach vacation. Instead, they get to experience their first tropical storm.
Pretty exciting and terrifying all at the same time.
And as far as damage goes, so we drove around St. Simon's Island a little while ago. No major damage or flooding to report just yet. But the Glenn County Fire Department did confirm that there were some trees down, some power outages. Same situation over in the downtown Brunswick area. No major flooding yet. Of course, Glenn County EMA is prepared to close roads if water does get too high. And of course, we will update you whenever that does happen. Live on St. Simon's Island, Riley Phillips, First Coast News, on your side.
And here's a look at power outages across the area. This is JEA's outage map. Several neighborhoods experiencing power outages across Jacksonville right now. Just over 4,500 customers are affected. In other parts of Florida, Clay Electric is reporting a little over 100 customers without power in Clay County. And Florida Power and Light says more than 600 customers are without power in Nassau County. In Georgia, we're taking a live look at the power outage map there. Several hundred experiencing outages in some of our Georgia counties. Most of the locations have weather as the reason for the outage.
And right now we are keeping a very close eye on closures and cancellations due to Debby. You can text the word closures to the number on your screen, 904-633-2402. And we'll send you a link right now to our article straight to your phone. We'll be updating that as more closures are announced. We told you about this shed in Union County last night, destroyed by a possible tornado. Tonight, our Zach Wilcox found the owners of that shed, and he has a look at the damage that their home endured. Zach?
Yeah, Heather, we're about a quarter of a mile away from where we found that shed last night. You mentioned it. We found the owners, and they're still mourning the loss of their beloved sycamore tree in their front yard. You can see it just ripped out right from the roots. You have the A-frame there that was set up for a swing. That got completely demolished when the tree came over, and this is really the least of their issues right now because it's much worse in the backyard. We got some video of their neighbor's barn where you can see the roof of it just peeled off, pieces of it all throughout the woods here, as well as in the side yard. And then their RV was tipped over, their boat was flipped over, and then all kinds of just yard stuff around here. There's also, where that shed was, there's still a lawnmower in there, a power washer in there, post hole diggers, all just without the roof. Just the shed completely gone, blown a quarter mile up the road. And they mentioned that they're just glad, especially after a piece of wood came into their house, they're just relieved that they're all okay today.
Felt like 2 seconds after we got the second one. We had absolutely no time to react. It was right on us. All we had time to do was just kind of look at each other and say run and get to our safe spot.
Yeah, so Lane Presley there saying the thing that I feel like most people feel when you get those tornado warnings. You always think that the chances are so little that it's going to be you, but they were unlucky yesterday, and really their most pressing issue is that part of their roof had a piece of wood go into it, so they have a tarp over right now, still getting some water into their garage, waiting for this rain to finally let up so they can really assess the work they're going to have to do over the next couple of days.
Wow, so glad they're okay. Always so important to heed those warnings. Well, let's show you other parts of Florida today. A shelter-in-place advisory in Sarasota today after Debby brought a lot of heavy rainfall to that area. We also know that first responders had to use ATVs and boats to rescue people from their homes. People who lived there were also seen trudging through floodwaters with large bags and buckets filled with their belongings.